Hi, good day, good evening. Welcome to our session today. This is Mike at Night. Thank you very much for joining us. And if you are with us today for the first time, let us know that you're with us for the first time. Just give us a hail out, just give us a shout out on the program. All right, so today we're going to talk about quiet dumping or quiet quitting. We're going to find out about that. Many of you, I'm sure, don't know what it is. Some of you all probably do, but we're going to talk about that as we get the program going. Let me say hello to all of those who are with us on the live, wherever it is you are. We want to thank you for joining us. Let me see who we have on here this evening. All right, my goodness, let me get rid of this volume. All right. All right. So as you join us, Carolyn Garraway, good evening to you. Rosemary, good evening. Thanks for joining us. Kathleen, good to see you. Alice John and more. Just I want you to do something for me, everybody. Just share the live. Just press share and put it back on your page. Let everybody know that we're talking about a very important topic this evening. We are always so happy to have you on and always so happy to have you present in our program. Our program really gears towards developing relationships. How do we improve the relationships that we have on it? So you're going to find that our topics are biased towards man-woman relationships and marriage and courtship, etc. Because you find that there are so many issues that we encounter in this sphere as far as relationships concerned. You'll have an intelligent man and an intelligent woman. They are the top of their game in their career. They are doing well in every other aspect of their life. But when it comes to relationship, we struggle. So that's why this program is dedicated towards building good relationships. We try to do that as often as possible. And we provide counseling to make sure that you get it right and you have it on board. All right, so let's go to a break. We're going to do some bills and then we're going to be right back with you.
Don't let the weather of the day dictate your pace. I stayed cool every time I got into my vehicle, and you can too. At Tow School Center of 31 Gaskin Bay Road, Bonaccord, they specialize in auto air conditioning with parts and services catering to your car's needs. Call and ask for tows at 660-8777 or 788-3535. Tow School Center, where a comfortable ride is a cool ride.
Hey, if you are having difficulty in your marriage or in your relationship and you need someone to speak with privately and confidentially, then call me, Michael Stewart. We can do face-to-face or virtually any part of the world. If your relationship is worth saving, call 868-688-5363 or go to my website www.michaelatstewart.com. Don't wait until it's too late. Get counseling. All right. So on November 12th, we have a program, The Psychological Impact or Effects of being single for too long. If you have not registered for it, we invite you to register for it. This is on November 12th. I think it is a Saturday. It's $150 TT, $30 US. You can go to our website, www.michaelatstewart.com. www.michaelat, do not forget the AT, michaelatstewart.com to register. And if you want counseling, you can go there also and book a time, whether it is you are local or you're international. You can book there because we do counseling virtually also. We'll be more than happy to facilitate you with that. Okay. All right. So we talk about quiet quitting. Quiet quitting. What is it and how does that affect you? As long as you are in a relationship or if you intend to be in a relationship, quiet quitting is something that you should know about. This is something that has been popularized recently. And this has been done probably since during the COVID time. And it more deals with the workplace but they are beginning to recognize that it is also part of relationships. You're going to listen to a video now, and this video will explain to you what quiet quitting is, and then we'll take it from there.
Quiet quitting means that when somebody asks you to do something that's not in your contract, you don't do it.
The concept of quiet quitting,
not doing the job of 2 to 3 people, stuff like that,
is making some very loud noise on TikTok.
Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster. I'm going to tell you that.
First, let's define the idea, which one career coach says is really about priorities.
People aren't going above and beyond. They're not bending over backwards for their employers anymore and sacrificing their mental and physical health. They're doing what they're getting paid for.
Allison Peck has amassed hundreds of thousands of followers on TikTok, doling out professional career advice. She tells us quiet quitting doesn't apply to many people, whether they're trying to run a company or jumpstart a career. But for others, she says it makes a lot of sense, even if the name doesn't.
I wish it was called something different, because you're not quitting, you're taking care of yourself.
So what would you call this?
You're coasting. You're carefully coasting.
Some speak about reclaiming control between work and personal life.
Isn't that just called working, doing your job properly with a healthy boundary?
While others say it's partly about pay.
Quietly quitting for me is acting my wage and knowing that my time is valuable.
The viral trend coming at a time when a Gallup poll finds employee engagement has dipped for the first time in a decade, and the great resignation of workers post-pandemic has put a strain on many businesses. But some online warning that quiet quitting doesn't benefit most people in the long run.
Quiet quitting is literally wasting your time at this company and shooting yourself in the foot. So please don't do that. If you feel like you have no other choice, get a new job.
As for advice to employers about combating quiet quitting,
managers are really important, and that does start at the top. And it's important to have the right kind of conversations at the right time so that people do know what's expected of them in their role and how their work connects to something bigger.
Conveying a sense of purpose and a mission to those who are also looking for fresh incentive is important too.
I still work just as hard. I still get just as much accomplished. I just don't stress and internally rip myself to shreds. And it's beautiful.
Okay, Sam. Is this a generational divide? Is this like kids these days? Or is it more widespread?
Or just people wearing shirts with clouds on it. It's very interesting, guys. You would think there might be a generational divide because a lot of the videos are going onto TikTok, younger people that are seeking out this for sort of a more honest, authentic forum. But if you look at the numbers, it really spans across age groups, Gen X, Gen Z, older millennials, and baby boomers all clocked in at the same amount of engagement, according to this poll, 31 to 33%, which is to say that the majority of Americans across all ages either are not engaged or actively disengaged. So that might be how you feel, and you can adopt this principle of trying to strike work-life balance, but maybe, just maybe, don't advertise it to your bosses. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, hard to sell that one.
I don't know.
I'm an overachiever, so I think I
just feel like you should be here now. When you're at work, be there now. Give 100%.
Right.
When you're in your relationship, be there now.
I also feel like it's then ask yourself what you expect from your job. I feel like anything in life, whether it's your job or a relationship, you get out what you put in.
Yeah.
You put in maximum effort, good things come. If you're kind of the bare minimum, then maybe the bare minimum comes back to you. And if you're cool with that,
in high
that's
school,
a choice.
I worked at a Pathmark store. I worked at a vending machine company after school. But I gave 100%. That's what my dad said. That's what you do.
Yeah.
If you're getting
and look
paid,
at you.
Well,
what happens though? No, when you give 100%,
And hey, that's how I got my first car, mowing lawns, because the guy was so impressed, he gave me his car. Anyway, but I digress, and I am old. So anyway.
Hey. There you have it. Quiet quitting or quiet dumping. This is for those who have just joined us. Good evening to you all. Charmaine, who joined late. You're late. Alison, you're late. Elon, you're late. All of you all. But good to have you all on anyway. Late or not. Right. If you are first time, just let us know that you're first time with us so that we can be able to acknowledge you. Rosemary, good to have you. Yes. Anne-Marie. Malcolm. Yes. All right, so quiet quitting. Here's what quiet quitting is. Quiet quitting is when you are on a job. It came from the whole aspect of being on a job and to get rid of what they call the hustle culture, where people spend so many hours on their job and they put out so much. And I guess when the pandemic came, these same people consider themselves rejected. Now, this is a new generation type of philosophy where the young people are saying, I'm not going to be stressing out all of my job. I have a private life, I have a leisure life, and I have a career life. And so I'm not going to kill myself off of my career life. I will give the bare minimum. Whatever it is I signed up for, I am going to do. I'm signed up to come for 8 o'clock, I will come at 8. But when at 4 o'clock, I am gone. I'm not doing anything more. If I'm signed up to be a cashier, I am not doing anything else. I am just doing that. I am when especially I'm operating in this way in the organization. So therefore, this is what is called quiet quitting, quiet dumping, right? And I am not engaged in this. I'm not going to put out more than that for it. Now, this goes against the grain of what our parents taught us, because our parents taught us this: you do more than you are paid for, and you give 100% of when you go, regardless of how much you are paid. That's what they taught the generations before. This generation said, nope, just do exactly as you have done. Now, that has transferred from that method of quiet quitting into the relationship, where it talks about quiet dumping and quiet quitting in the relationships. So you're in a relationship with somebody, and the person wants to leave, because in the job the person wants to go, but they don't want to go. They want the job, but they don't want you to fire them. So they are not going to do anything to be fired. Neither are they going to go beyond the call of duty on the job. And it is what we call a disengaged employee. In the quiet quitting in relationships, there are a number of people in relationships, I tell you, who are in the relationships, but they are doing nothing more than they are required in this relationship. They are not putting out more. They are not going to give excess. They are not going to give of their full. They are just going to do enough to keep the relationship going so that you don't dump them, but they are not going to do anything to be able to advance the relationship. Inside of this relationship becomes a bit of a stalemate at some point in time, where we have more of what we don't plan to do for the person. I'm not doing this for my husband. I'm not doing for this for my wife. I'm not doing this for no man. I'm not doing this for no woman. So we have all of this, what we're not doing. We are stopping and we're putting a boundary there. But what is it we are really prepared to do? Now, the challenge with quiet quitting is this: when you quiet quit in a job cannot give you all the job specs. I don't know of any job that can give you exactly all the job specs that you're going to be required to do. In fact, most don't. And I guess this is why some contracts read and any related duties. I think that's what many times the contract reads: related duties. If you are on a job and you have to leave at 4 o'clock, but exigencies of the service, where you have to do something because of the position that you hold. You had somebody who probably is inside of the office later than you expected. The door was closed, but the person has not finished their transaction, but you are the one serving. What are you going to do? What are you going to do to the person? Say, I signed up a contract to finish at 4 o'clock and I'm finished. That's what quiet quitting says. I'm not going to go beyond anything that I'm doing. If you are on your way, and I don't know whether it will also transfers to people in the first responders, you're on your way to a scene of an accident. This is an accident that occurred recently when you are approaching your end of time. What are you saying? You are not going to go and deal with it? But the philosophy has its own thing, but it would have come out from, I think, particularly America, where America is almost like a corporate, go do 3, 4 jobs, work hard, and you are consumed by your job. And many of these people have no private life. So, as a pushback to not having a private life and not having to be able to have some leisure time with your friends, your family, etc., they have come up with this thing, quiet quitting. I'm not going to go beyond. I'm going to keep my sanity. I'm going to still stay alive. I'm not going to work myself to death, etc. So one of the things that they said is it is trying to create now a clear, distinct job spec that is predictable. But at the same time, it pushes employers to treat their employees better, because historically, some employers have been calling for the extra from employees, but they have not been paying extra. They have not been appreciating more. That has transferred to the relationship, where there have been so many people who have been putting out in relationships. They go beyond in the relationship. They'll do anything for the husband, for the wife, for the children, the boyfriend, the girlfriend, and the person doesn't give anything back. So now we find that there's a pushback, a quiet quitting. If I have to do this, I'm going to do this. But you see all of this extra? If I'm in bed already and you say you're hungry, I'm not getting up to help you get nothing to eat. You got to get it yourself. If I have left and I've come home and you are on the job and you need something that you forgot at home, I'm not bringing it back for you. I'm quiet quitting. I am going to do what I need to do as a husband or as a wife or a boyfriend or girlfriend, but I'm not going to go the extra mile. So the question that you have on your poll today is, do you think you should do the bare minimum in a relationship? And let me hear your feedback on it. Do you think you should do the bare minimum in a relationship? What do you all think? Give me your feedback on it. Is that something that we could do, given that people have been giving and giving and so many people have sacrificed for the relationship and never got an appreciation back from the person that they are in the relationship with? And then we're going to go into explaining more as to how it relates in the relationship. You give me your feedback, please, on Facebook, etc. If you wish, you can call us live on WhatsApp. The telephone number is 868-688-5363. Let me repeat that again. 868-688-5363. You can call us and let's chat about it. Or you can post your opinion on the Facebook and I shall read it. Let me say good evening to those who have just joined us. Joy, good evening to you. Candice Edwards, you say I reach. Good to see you. All right. Who else? Yes, Mel Jones, good to see you also. All right. So, Alison said, I believe that we should give all in a relationship. Yep. Give your all. Yeah. I wonder, if you're not giving your all, what would the employer, let's take it from the business place, would the employer really want to promote you? What's your chances of showing loyalty to an organization? And if you're in a relationship and you're not giving your all, you're only giving bare minimum in a relationship, where does that take you? Charmaine says, I've stopped giving beyond what I can do because it's like I'm living a single life. Wow. Okay. So that's Charmaine. She said she stopped giving beyond what she can do. Well, somebody could only go up to what they can do. But we're talking about going beyond the call of duty, going the extra mile, doing the best you can, giving everything that you've got into this relationship to make sure it works. quiet quitting? Because here's the question you have to ask yourself. If we believe in quiet quitting in relationships, that I do bare minimum, can parents quiet quit on their children? Because once we accept a philosophy, we accepted this TikTok has become so viral and so many people are taking it on board. All right. So let's hear this call and let's hear what this caller says. Good evening.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Michael, good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. What's up?
I'm all right, I'm pretty good. You know, really topic, you know, when I answer the question, I don't think that is a thing again anymore. As a matter of fact, I think what I is possible is to do your best job. You know, the Bible means that whatever your time to do,
Yeah.
you know, to do all your mind,
Yeah.
you know, and that kind of thing. So I
Just know what caller. Let me hear. Are you hearing him, director? Okay. All right. So I going to ask you again to start again for us, please. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I am one of the people that put no in my response. And the reason why I have put no is because I really feel that anybody that does anything, any task, any duty someone has, that they're supposed to do it with all the might. And I was even referring to the fact that the Bible says that anything a man can find to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
With all their might, right? So there is that encouragement. However, there's the other part of it, which means that because we are multifaceted human beings, you may find that some people who do extra work, let's assume, for example, in the workplace, they turn around and affect the family life. Because remember, the family life could be part of your duties too. So as a result, you would need to also bear that in mind, even when you are excellent at work. So that at the end, and what about church? Sometimes you're excellent at church or family, or at work and family, but you can't show up at church because now you're too busy there. Or what about the inability to take your family on much needed vacation? You can't do that because you're so tied up with all kinds of other things. So I personally think that there has to be a balance. And then not only that, but I think when it's time for rest must also be an important factor in the management of your time.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So you can't.
So if we use that same philosophy that you're using there, should you put your all into a relationship?
Right, good. So in a relationship, I think you need to put your best in a relationship. And I will tell you why. But I think if you put your best in a relationship, you don't have to put your all.
I wonder I'm trying to simulate what you just said. Or is it assimilate what you just said? You could do you don't have to put your all, but you could do your best.
Into a relationship, yes. I'll tell you what I mean.
Yes.
A lot of men, and maybe women too, you hear them complain that I gave this man my all. You know, I gave this woman my all. But you really didn't do your best. For example, if I like this woman and I am following this woman all the time, but because I am giving her my all, I'm denying my work, I'm denying my own education, and I'm denying my own self-improvement, because she must have all my time, she must have all my money, she must have all my everything. Then what is happening is that you became tasteless to her, simply because you have not your own self-improved. You have now become That's sort of a doormat. And as a result of that, you're no longer available, or you're no longer relevant. You have now given yourself lack of relevance. And I was told this as a final thing, Michael. I could be building a house. Remember, I'm not completed yet. And you say, well, somebody says, man, I need a couple blocks. And I give you my blocks. Right? What happens is that eventually, if I don't have a management on the taker could end up using all my blocks to build his house or her house. And at the end of the day, they have a house. And I still don't have one because I've given my all, but I didn't give my best.
Okay. I think you elucidated what you were saying with that illustration. Yes, I could see that one. All right. Nice. Thank you very much. Okay. 868-688-5363. 868-688-5363. We are live. This is 868-688 Mike at Night. This is Mike at Night. We invite you to call us, share your ideas and your thoughts with us, and what you think concerning quiet quitting. All right. So give us your ideas. All right. So for those who just joined us, quiet quitting is when you do your bare minimum on a job, enough not to be fired, but also not anything more than you are required. Enough not to be fired and nothing more than is required. And that has transferred itself now into relationships where there are people who are in relationships who are quiet quitting. I'm just here. I'm just marking time. When it ends, it ends. If it don't end, it don't end. I am not doing anything to disrupt it, but I'm not doing anything to advance it. I just letting it go into post. You know, when you put your vehicle in a neutral gear, it is neither in a forward nor a reverse gear. That's how some people doing it, and we are acting just as how it started in the job and has now been considered in relationships. Will it be considered from parent to child? I'm only doing the bare minimum. Well, of course, some children would say, I'm only doing the bare minimum in this house anyway. And I'm just doing it enough not to be put out of the house, but I'm not doing it to improve anybody else or anything else in the house. Do we now transfer that in every other area of life? Is this psyche even good for a people where we are saying we actually rate mediocrity? That's what I believe it sounds like. Mediocrity, where I do average and I'm not doing excellence. If you can't have people excelling in sports who doing bare minimum. For people to excel in sports, they have to go beyond. I've heard of athletes saying that I think it was Usain Bolt or one of them said that when he has gone on already to practice his exercises in the morning and so on, and he's leaving to come off back to head back home, is when other people who are coming on to practice. The reason he can now be the fastest man or hailed as one of the fastest men on earth is because he went beyond bare minimum. That kind of talk. So I don't know. We need to look at it. Lyndon says how it hang its swing. How it hang its swing. That's the kind of mentality some people have in relationships. It is okay, that can help your peace of mind. That can. Okay, what is AJ saying? AJ, you are saying what can help your peace of mind? You need to explain that. All right. Your excellence can work against you. All right. AJ, call in 868-688-5363. I'd love to hear from you. Right? 688-5363 AJ. Give me a call. Good evening, Lenora Francis Moses. Good evening to you. Nice having you on. Try and share the live, people. And let's have others come on board and listen to the discussion. All right. So while people are thinking about it, some relationships have descended into living like tenants. A boy, a man and a woman in a relationship, and there's nothing spectacular that goes on between them that is different from if they were two roommates. If you're out there and you're living in a relationship like that, then you probably understand what quiet quitting is. Because you feel as though you're not in a relationship, while at the same time you feel as though you're not that you are in a relationship. Sometimes you have enough to stay, and sometimes you have enough to leave. The relationship sometimes is sexless and also loveless. You don't feel as though this person loves you. They don't treat you as though they love you. They pay the bills. They wash the dishes. They clean the yard. They sometimes take care of the children. But you don't feel as though the relationship outside of just the routine work of it, that you are emotionally and intimately connected to the person. Have you ever felt that? Are you in a relationship like that? Do you feel as though you are empty in a relationship? That might be that you are in a relationship where your partner has already quite quitted you. All right? You can be overworked, you can be emotionally tired. Okay, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Hi.
Today, very interesting program, very interesting discussion.
Thank you very much. Where are you calling from, by the way?
I'm calling from St. James.
St. James. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Is this your first time on the program?
No, I've listened before.
Okay, wonderful. Share your views with us, please.
Right. Well, first of all, my answer to the question was, you're not supposed to give your
Mm-hmm.
The thing about it is that we could give, for the most part, we have given 100% in the different aspects of our life. And it doesn't mean that we are losing ourselves in giving 100%. So if I go to work and I know my work requires that I work 8 hours a day, and during that period of time, I'm required to do X amount of work. I do X amount of work for 8 hours. I give it my best. And whatever I do, the quality of my work is top notch. If I am a father to my children, when that time comes for me to give to them, I can also give them 100%. So my 100% of work doesn't take away, in my view, doesn't take away from me giving 100% to my children or 100% to my wife. Because we have to compartmentalize our lives, and that is how it is really. In that we have so many different facets of our lives. And the Bible tells us that whatever we do it to the best, do it unto the Lord. It means that we can give excellence to our spouses in our relationships in whatever area, and it doesn't mean that we lose ourselves in that, because we also have to remember that we need to also give to ourselves 100%. So it means that if I know I need a certain amount of nutrients, I'm not going to deprive myself of those nutrients. If I know I need a certain amount of exercise, I'm not going to deprive myself of that. But it doesn't take away from me giving to somebody else also 100% in whatever area that it is. So I believe that we can and we ought to, in relationships, give 100%. Long ago, there was a saying saying that they used to say, you know, I'm going to give 50 and wait for the other person to give 50.
50-50
But
love.
that's not how it works. Yeah. You know, but that's not how it works. We have to give 100. It doesn't matter what the other person is done. I think this is what we do. We look to see what is being given to us, and we measure what we do by what the other person does.
Mm-hmm.
And if God does that for us, I think we'll be in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Because if God is saying, listen, I waited to see what you give to me, and then depending on what you give, I will give right back to you. And if we are supposed to be imitators of Him, He gives us all that He has. He didn't hold back. He didn't wait to see what we are giving to Him. He says, listen, because of this relationship I have with you, I'm giving you 100.
Right.
And everybody gets 100 from Him. And it doesn't take away from who He is.
Yes.
Or it doesn't take away from what you're giving to somebody else. And in the same vein, I believe that we also would be able, should be able, to give 100% in our relationships, intimate relationships, to our children, to our work, and it doesn't take away from us also giving that 100% to ourselves.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you sharing.
You're most welcome.
All right. All right. I want to support that caller. That 100% plus 100% is 100%. But you don't get 50% and 50% giving you 100%. That's how I teach. I support that caller a lot. That is mathematics. But when it comes to relationship, it doesn't work out so. You've got to go in with 100. Who would want to get into a relationship with somebody who says, I'm not going to be giving you much out of this, I'm giving you my bare minimum, and that person gives in and invests in you, invest their life for the next 20 years with you? Of course, that is going to happen if the person is not planning to stay around for any lengthy period of time, but certainly serious-minded people want a bit more out of that. I think it is a dangerous, slippery slope to be trying to normalize not giving your best. The question is, why is it people are beginning to consider quiet quitting or quiet dumping in relationships? Well, there are times that somebody is in a relationship and the relationship has some issues that the person that they are with, they are trying to raise those issues with the person, but the person is not prepared to listen. If you have an issue with your spouse and you want to point out to the spouse something that aggrieves you, but the spouse doesn't want to hear it at all, doesn't want to make no changes in their life, doesn't want to do it at all, there comes a time that you just don't have anything to say. And you just walk in to the house and you just operating from a standpoint of whatever happens, happens. If you want to do it, go ahead and do it. I will just let you do as you like. And they have nothing to say. Technically, they are quiet quitting on you. They have just shut down on you. And they are just doing the bare minimum after a while. Right? Kathleen says sometimes you give 110 and you get only 50. That happens. Good evening, Orville. Yes. Some people don't give 100% because they fear of being used. Well, when you have relationships where so many people have been in relationships and they have come through dysfunctional, hurtful experiences, sooner or later, they are likely to quiet quit on somebody who was not part of that whole journey that they had with somebody in their past. And that's the difficulty when people keep moving from relationship to relationship. You don't get better. My respectful view. I think you become numb. Let me say that again. When people keep moving from relationship to relationship and think it is enjoyable and new and flavorful and so on, it's not. You do not become better. You become numb. You no longer feel. It is a numb experience. And you are going into the relationship with that numbness. And therefore, you could find that you quiet quit. Or the person is going to quiet quit on you because you are not reachable. Maudlin said sometimes you have to just do your best and leave the rest and pray that God takes care of the rest for peace sake. Yeah, Shamin said she understands the shutdown. Yes, that shutdown. That shutdown is where the person says, I have tried. I've tried enough. I'm tired. And so many people that you meet in relationship and said, I've had it. I'm just tired. But they are not leaving the relationship. They don't want to leave it, but they're not doing anything to keep the relationship. In fact, if the person walks in and says, listen, me and you done. I don't want this relationship again. That person would not even put up a fight because they have quiet quitted on you long time. They have just at the end of their rope. So that's what happens. So when you are not in reasoning mode, if you're in a relationship with somebody who is unreasonable, they are not in reasonable and reasoning mode, you could find that the person in that relationship with you quiet quits on you. You think because they're not raising an issue is because they agree with everything you're doing. No, they just can't be bothered with you. And sometimes, anytime now, they are gone. All right, so what is the other reason? Sometimes when some people get a chance and they want to raise an issue with somebody in the relationship, the reaction of the person is so toxic. The person gets so angry and hostile. If you are saying, listen, I am not enjoying our relationship. There are too many issues in this relationship. We are not intimate. We're not spending time together. We are not, I don't like all of making, etc. There are a number of people who can't hear some stuff and react badly or negatively towards this. But you can't really share how you feel. But something really bothers you in the relationship, but you don't have a listening ear in your spouse. So after a while, you suck it up. Things are happening and you don't like how it's happening and you just do nothing. You know, in lovemaking, people quiet quit. Some people not enjoying the lovemaking. They're not enjoying the sex. But the person has not made any changes. Sometimes they are being spoken to. Sometimes they say, listen, it's not happening the way I like it. I prefer this. I like this. I don't like the other. This one here turns me off and so on. But the person just ignores you. So you really quiet quit. You say nothing. You do nothing. You just go along with emotion. If the person doesn't even want sex, it does not bother you. In fact, you rather not. You see? So it is neither here nor there. Mel Jones says, very true. That what is it saying by very true to Mel about the not enjoying sex part? That's what you're saying not true to? That's what you're saying very true to? Sometimes you feel guilty in the relationship as if you're always the problem. Yeah? If the person, everything you do, your partner keeps criticizing you, always have an objection to you, you don't have an opinion, you don't feel as though your opinion is being valued, that person would quiet quit on you. They just quiet quit is when they just get to a point, I'm just doing my part. You can't accuse me that I'm not doing my part. I clean the house, I do this, I clean the yard, I fix the car, and so on. I pay the bills, nothing more. Whatever it is. All right. All right, nicely. I'm just reading some of these things on the Facebook quickly. All right, so we talk about that. Also, we talk about the why some people quiet quit. If, for example, your relationship is not going good, there are some families that will not accept you complaining that your relationship is not in a good thing. And sometimes because they are biased towards one member of the party, either the husband, family, supporting only their child or the wife, vice versa. But you want to raise the fact that I am not happy. I'm going through some problems in my relationship. And the person you're with doesn't want to hear you. And the family may shun the whole aspect of even admitting that you all having problems. Because this family, everybody stay together. Some of them together for 25 years, 30 years, and they're not happy, but we stay together. We are in this thing. We don't complain. We just take it. And they go along the motion, but you want to deal with it. It's not that you necessarily want to leave the relationship, but you want to discuss the relationship. You want to discuss some issues, but the person will not allow you to discuss it. And the family would not hear of anything about it. You could end up quiet quitting in the relationship. You go into the family functions and so on, and you just sit down quiet, everybody talking and laughing, and you say nothing. You are nobody's business. Give me a call, 868-688-5363. 868-688-5363. What is Landon saying? I certainly know about just keeping quiet and saying whatever. As when I try to restore or fix, it would be said I'm negative. But my present status may not qualify me to comment. You better not. You best keep yourself quiet. You could have some very negative feedback off of that. Yes. Good evening, Sandra. You're now reached. All right. It's easy to find me, Sandra. You just go to label or you can go to my page. It is on my page, on my Facebook page, every Thursday at 8 o'clock. All right. Right. So if you feel you don't have a listening ear in your spouse to some of the issues that you want to raise, the hard issues, some of the issues that is difficult to speak about, then quiet quitting is the only result that you'll get from that. Charmaine says, Mike, it took me 30 plus years to talk about my relationship. I bottled everything up. I'm always looking at as having no sense. Okay, right. So the chances are, from what Charmaine is saying, if Charmaine says for 30 years, she has been bottling up, then certainly there's a high chance Charmaine would have been quiet quitting on her situation for majority of those years, because after a while, saying nothing. So we just living at tenants now. We just moving along and we just letting it wait, hang it, swing. All right. Orville said, quiet quitting is not a healthy way to live. It can affect you physically. You telling me? All right. Okay. So we talk about the family as to why some people quiet quit, because you have a family structure that does not encourage you to be open with some of the challenges that you have, right? You also have religion. Because you're Christian, because you are a leader, things not going good. But as a wife or the husband or whatever it is, you can't say anything, or you feel you cannot say anything. You cannot raise an issue. So you're in your religious cocoon, unhappy, and want to resolve issues, but you are more or less put into a box because of the religious atmosphere. To be able to come to your spouse and say, let's say it's a woman to her husband who's a leader, to come to the husband and say, our marriage, I'm not happy in it. Our sex life, I'm not contented. For a man to go to his wife and say, listen, I'm not happy with it, or what have you, the other partner or the person who has the issue is likely to quiet it. They just give up and they are rolling with the punches. We're just in this. They see other people smiling and so on. They feel it because they miss it, but they can't do anything about it. You feel imprisoned. Though, isn't that a imprisonment that somebody feels? Because they don't feel as though they can actualize in the relationship. So let me just, before we run out of time, give you a couple signs that somebody might be quite quitting on you. All right. So let me take this call before I give you those signs. Yes. Good evening.
Good evening again, Mike.
Yes, sir.
Yes, a question that I had to ask.
Yes.
Listen to what you're saying there now. Is it possible that when somebody quiet quit, they quiet quit on the relationship as a whole, or they may quiet quit on the particular aspect of the relationship that they dissatisfied with?
They can quiet quit on the spouse, I believe, and not on the children. But some people quiet quit on the whole relationship, the whole union. They want out. You could have a father, and most likely in the case when you quiet quit on the whole family, most times I suspect, in my personal opinion, it is the man who would now quiet quit. So he comes home, he's not playing with the children because he and the wife not getting along anyway. They can't deal with some stuff. So he comes home and he does bare minimum in the house. He goes and he sleeps, says bare minimum, engages in bare minimum. He doesn't take the family out anywhere and so on, doesn't engage the family in any way, because in his head, he's just doing what he's supposed to do as a man, quote unquote. The bills are paid, but there's no relationship that he encourages. Any free time he has, he's out.
Right. In the rum shop.
Right.
Right.
So he has quiet quitted on his own family. A woman would more quiet quit on him, but not on the children.
Right. Right. I remember hearing a man complain once and say that when the wife is buffing the children, he feels as though the wife is buffing him too.
In what context?
Like, for example, I'm not fully sure, but it feels as though that's what his feelings were. Like, when the wife is complaining how the house is dirty, for example, she may not necessarily, she would say it in such a way that he also feels that he's part of the house being dirty.
Okay, all right. Yes, I understand. So we could say something, but we recognize that apparently the arrows are also scattering more than beyond the children. It is scattering towards you, the spouse.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, good. Nice, thanks. All right. If you want to chat with us, 868, thank you very much for that call. 868-688-5363. Yes, give us a call. So let's talk about some of the signs in the time that we have left. Some of the signs that we have that somebody is quite quitting. Number one, when they're emotionally distant. I don't know if you understand what I mean by they are emotionally distant. You're in a relationship and you're telling yourself, somehow or the other, we're not connecting. Something missing. I don't know what it is, but we ain't saddling properly. Yeah. So when that happens and the person feels as though emotionally, I try to get some casual talk, sweet talk, but it's not happening. And they tell themselves that no, something is wrong. That's a sign. Your spouse might have been quiet quitting on you. They don't want to be emotionally engaged in this. Let's come and watch television now. Come and sit down and let's watch. Nah, I don't want to watch TV. Yeah. Okay. So they are emotionally distant, unavailable. And the more closer you try to draw to the person, the more they withdraw. That's one. Two, they're not paying attention. A lot of things, they just seem to ignore you. If you are sitting down in a 2-seat space in the house, they will go on a single seat. If you are talking to them, they seem to not hear what you said. They are on a different subject when they come back to respond. A lot of things that you ask them to do, they are unconcerned. They don't pay attention to you. They might have quiet quitted on you. Right? So watch for that. And thirdly, you might find that they avoid discussions of the future, especially when it is boyfriend and girlfriend. Every time you try to talk about moving the relationship from courtship, dating, so are we going to get married? Are we going to settle down? Are we going to build a house? Are we going to, what are we going to do? Are we going to have children? What are we going to do? Well, some people, most time people don't ask, are we going to have children? They just have children and then ask, what are we going to do about the children? Yeah. So we're talking about really planning for future. So they avoid future talks. If you in a relationship and in a courting relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, and the person does not want to talk about your future, it's almost certain, in my respectful view, they are quiet quitting on you. They are doing the bare minimum in this relationship. They may go in that far. You hold your horses right there. Let me just enjoy the time, go out on dates, have sex, cool yourself. No more. Don't ask me nothing else but no future. Right? So, they're not going to entertain future talk with you. So, I hope that you all understand now. I want to just end up by telling you what to do if the person is quiet quitting. Try and have the uncomfortable talk with the person regardless. Choose the right time, choose the right manner to do it, but have it. If there are things bothering you in a relationship, do not lose your voice. You have a right to say it. Even if they don't take you on, say it. Right. So somebody is going to say, but I've said it so often. Well, then you got your sign. You know you've been quiet quitting. You don't even have to ask yourself if you've been saying it for so often and they're not even taking you on. So don't come to the conclusion that they're not taking you on if you have not raised the uncomfortable talk. You owe it to yourself and the relationship to say what's on your heart. So that's one, what to do. Second thing that I want to suggest to people. Express in your discussion the changes that you've noticed. I notice we don't talk anymore. Is there something wrong? Try to ask them to share with you what is going on, because that other person may have quiet quitted why they are not sharing anything with you. But try to find out whether, because you see, it may be something that you have done that they think you should know what you did, and you are oblivious to the fact that you did something that offended that person. So reach out to them and hope that they would give you an answer. So if you are inside of that relationship, consider doing that. Trying to find out, express the things that you have noticed what's going on. I notice you're distant. I notice that you're coming home late. You're not spending much time with us. I notice that when you talk to me in a very one word. Yes, no, I don't know, I don't care. Do what you want. And I notice that, and I'm concerned about that. I want us to talk about it. Yeah. So that is one. Have the uncomfortable talk and make that uncomfortable talk specific to the issues and raise those issues. And thirdly, get counseling, because sometimes a situation can be resolved. It's not that somebody wants to leave, or it is that the relationship cannot work, but it may be something that needs to be resolved. And that's why we provide counseling. Our services are available. And as I said, you can call us 868-688-5363 for counseling, or you can go to our website, My website is www.michaelatstewart.com. If you are not in Trinidad and Tobago and you want to be able to book us a counseling session, you can go to the website and book it online, and we can do it virtually. 868-688-5363. The number is on the screen. Let's go to the poll as we go. Kathleen says, long time parents used to ask the male, what is your intention? That's right. And if the man didn't want to get further in the relationship, he was forced out of the relationship by the parent. Absolutely. Because they had quiet quitting a long time. But our parents never used to stand for it. Done with that. Okay. Am I seeing the poll results? I'm not seeing it. Up. Maudlin said, I know exactly what you're saying, my brother. Talk to me. I'm not a cook, as the saying goes. All right. So the question is, do you think that you should do bare minimum in a relationship? 13% said yes. 87% said no. I'm happy that people think that they don't need to do bare minimum. I don't know what kind of quality relationship that is. Nobody saying, hey, I'm looking for a girl who just bare minimum. Hey, you know of any guy who does bare minimum? I'm looking for him. Ask him, call me up, hit me up. Nope. Nobody wants that. People want people who are invested in the relationship. I want to thank our director, Sydney Jones, for tonight. Another good evening. I hope that we are able to bless your heart in some way and give you some good things to be able to give you a stronger relationship. My name is Michael Stewart. I'm pleased to meet you, and we look forward to seeing you next week, Thursday, 8 o'clock. More on Mike at Night. Have a good evening.
Let the weather of the day dictate your pace. I stayed cool every time I got into my vehicle, and you can too. At Tow School Center of 31 Gaskin Bay Road, Bonaccord, they specialize in auto air conditioning with parts and services catering to your car's needs. Call and ask for tows at 660-8777 or 788-3535. Tow School Center, where a comfortable ride is a cool ride.
Hey, if you are having difficulty in your marriage or in your relationship and you need someone to speak with privately and confidentially, then call me, Michael Stewart. We can do face-to-face or virtually any part of the world. If your relationship is worth saving, call 868-688-5363 or go to my website www.michaelatstewart.com. Don't wait until it's too late. Get counseling.